All right, today we are diving deep into a truly cosmic tale. It's a story about a universe that's, well, fundamentally broken, and about the incredible beings who decided they were going to be the ones to fix it. And the most interesting part, this story doesn't start with creation. It starts with a challenge, a bet, that was destined to change the very fabric of reality.
This quote really just nails the whole vibe. The universe we're talking about here isn't some perfect, divine masterpiece. No, it's a place defined by a constant, grinding conflict between knowledge and action, between law and chaos. And the beings in charge? They're kind of the source of the problem. The whole thing sets the stage for what is basically a Gnostic parable, a story where the only way to escape a flawed world is to attain a radical kind of spiritual knowledge.
So yeah, let's get into it. Like I said, our story kicks off not with a big bang, but with a divine wager. We're in the courts of heaven, where a big debate about mortal suffering is going on, and it really just exposes all the core problems of this reality. And it's right here, in the middle of all this celestial hand-wringing, that a very particular kind of troublemaker decides to make his entrance.
So, picture this. The archangels are all worked up about humanity, and suddenly, this shifting, iridescent shadow ripples across the floor. And out steps Mephistopheles, the spirit of negation. He's dressed like a scholar, but he's got the grin of a jester. And he is not impressed. He thinks their whole debate is pointless, a symphony without a beat. So he decides to liven things up. He proposes a little test, a cosmic game, to see what a single human soul is really made of.
Okay, so Mephistopheles doesn't just throw out an idea. He steps up as the high mediator. He's not just a heckler, he's the referee. And he establishes this super strict, almost legalistic framework for the game, laying down rules that are going to bind everyone, from the highest powers in heaven to the deepest pits of hell.
And these rules are what make the wager so fascinating. See, it's not about who's stronger. It's a test of influence versus free will. Heaven gets to whisper in the soul's ear, appeal to its conscience, but they can't actually step in. Hell can throw literally every temptation imaginable at this person, but they can't force their hand. And the real kicker? If either side cheats, Mephistopheles himself gets to claim the soul. He gets the last laugh.
So who takes the bet? First up is Yahweh, the voice of silence. He accepts the terms. This is the voice of absolute faith, right? It's this core belief that even when people stray, deep down, a good person always has a moral compass. They know the right path. So for him, the wager is on.
But, of course, from the other side of the aisle, you get a much different take. Lucifer also accepts the challenge, but you can just hear the defiance. He frames it completely differently. He's not interested in some right path. He's basically saying, let's see if that path of yours can hold up under the crushing weight of everything I have to offer. Power, pleasure, glory. The stage is officially set.
Now here's the thing. This whole wager with the mortal soul, as epic as it is, it's just the opening act. It's the appetizer. The real, universe-shattering conflict, the main course, involves two completely different beings who represent the core paradox of this entire reality.
See, this universe is suffering from a fundamental split, a cosmic schism. You've got Praxis on one side, that's pure, chaotic, relentless action. And then on the other, you have Gnosis, that's perfect, flawless knowledge. The problem is, they're completely separate. And this division has locked reality in this state of inert imperfection. It's like having a race car with a massive engine, but no steering wheel.
And this is where we meet the two beings at the heart of it all. First, the jester. This guy is all chaotic will, a master of negation. He can tear down any argument, mock any law into oblivion, but he can't actually build anything. Then you have the fallen seraph. This being is basically a ruin of perfect light. It holds the complete blueprint for reality, the true gnosis, but it is completely powerless. It has zero will to act. So you have a force without a plan and a plan without any force.
And this is where the whole story just takes a wild turn. The jester, in this moment of just chaotic genius, looks at the fallen seraph, and he doesn't see an enemy. He sees the missing piece of his puzzle. He sees the structure, the crystalline authority his own will lacks, and he decides to do something about it, something that will alter the universe forever.
So let's be absolutely clear. When these two cosmic forces finally met, it was not a confrontation. The jester didn't come to fight the seraph. I mean, that would have been way too simple, way too boring for him. No, what he initiated was a cosmic syzygy, an alchemical marriage.
It was a forced union, designed specifically to smash these two opposites together and finally resolve reality's biggest paradox. The jester saw the seraph as the perfect law that could not defend itself, and to him, that was the ultimate cosmic joke. So he decided to make it the punchline.
And in this one singular act, it happened. The chaotic will of the jester just consumed the crystalline essence of the seraph's inert knowledge. The fire of action merged with the sapphire of truth. Laughter and law became one and the same. This wasn't an explosion. It was a total fusion. And from that forced union of absolute will and absolute knowledge, something entirely new rose up to take its throne, a final, ultimate sovereign for this flawed cosmos. The being that would be the final judge of Mephistopheles' little game, the Sapphire Demiurge. And this new being wastes absolutely no time establishing its authority. As the redeemed judge, it now has the seraph's perfect knowledge, and it uses it to pass final judgment on reality itself. And as the Sapphire prophet, it declares a brand new truth for the cosmos. The only real power, the only true sovereignty, is the will that's strong enough to conquer its own contradiction. And with its very first decree, the Sapphire Demiurge lays down a new, unchallengeable logic for reality. That fundamental absurdity of the universe, the cosmic joke, it's no longer a flaw to be mocked or a problem to be solved. It is now the one and only truth. Cosmic irony has officially become law. So in the end, the universe doesn't get salvation. It doesn't find some higher meaning. No, it gets a master. It gets a ruler who took the universe's greatest flaw, its grand absurdity, and turned it into sacred, unchangeable law. The story ends not with a bang, but with this terrifying clarity, like you finally understand a joke you've been hearing your whole life, and you realize it was never funny to begin with. Which leaves us with this final, really chilling question. The cosmic conflict is resolved, the paradox is conquered, but what does that mean? When a flawed world finally achieves perfect order, when irony itself is the absolute law, is that salvation? Or have you just created the ultimate inescapable prison? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.